You know that feeling? You have 12 tabs open. Your phone is buzzing. Your calendar is a battlefield of coloured blocks. You're answering an email while thinking about a project due tomorrow, all while a video plays in the background. We call it productivity. We call it the hustle. But if we're honest, it feels like being pulled in 10 directions at once. It feels like our mind is a leaky bucket, and our energy is just spilling out onto the floor. We are constantly busy, but at the end of the day, we often feel like we've accomplished nothing of substance. We think this is a modern malady, a digital age problem. We blame the algorithms and the smartphones, but human beings have always struggled to hold on to their minds. Over 2,000 years ago, during a time of chaos and war in China, the philosopher Zhuangzi looked at the world and saw this exact same scattered energy. He didn't offer a new planner or a time management hack. He offered a story about a hunchback. Imagine Confucius travelling through a dense forest. As he walks, he comes upon a man who is doing something nearly impossible. He is catching cicadas, those swift, tiny insects, using nothing but a long bamboo pole tipped with a bit of sticky glue. He is plucking them from the high branches as easily as you might pick up a pebble from the path. Even the slightest tremble in the hand would send the insect flying, yet this man moves with a precision that seems supernatural. Is there a way to this? Is there a secret to such skill, or is it just fate? I have a way. I spent months in preparation. First, I practiced balancing 2 small balls on the very tip of my pole. When they stopped falling, I knew I would lose very few cicadas. Then I practiced with 3, then 5. When 5 balls stayed still on that tiny point, the task became as easy as reaching out my hand. But then he reveals the true internal secret, the psychological state that allows the physical skill to exist. He says, I hold my body like a stiff tree trunk. I keep my arm like a steady dead branch. No matter how huge the world is, or how numerous the 10,000 things are, I am aware of nothing but cicada wings. I do not turn my head. I do not let the rest of the universe take my eyes off those wings. Why shouldn't I succeed? Zhuangzi is giving us a masterclass in what he calls Zhuan Yi, singular focus. Our world tells us that to gain everything, we must see everything. We are told that efficiency means spinning as many plates as possible. But Zhuangzi warns that when we spread our mind across the 10,000 things, we lose our D, our inner potency or character. We become diluted versions of ourselves. We think we are being powerful by doing more, but we are actually becoming weaker by being less present in any one thing. He often compared the mind to water. If you pour water into 10 different channels, it becomes a shallow, weak marsh. It can't move anything. It just sits there, evaporating. But if you force that same water into one single narrow channel, it becomes a river powerful enough to carve through solid stone. Multitasking is the marsh. Deep work is the river. When the hunchback says he is aware of nothing but cicada wings, he isn't just being a hard worker. He is entering a state called fasting of the heart. This isn't about sitting in a cave. It's about clearing out the mental clutter so that there is no room for the noise of the world to interfere with the signal of the task. He isn't fighting the world to stay focused. He has simply allowed the rest of the world to disappear so that only the task remains. The world hasn't gone away. It just no longer has a claim on his attention. Think about the last time you were truly proud of something you created. Was it while you were toggling between apps and checking your notifications? Or was it during that rare hour when the room went quiet, your phone was forgotten, and the 10,000 things vanished? In that moment, you weren't multitasking. You were being the one. You were the tree trunk, and your task was the wing. This isn't about working harder. It's about the courage to narrow your gaze. We are afraid to focus on one thing because we fear what we might miss out on. But mastery doesn't come from managing the chaos. It comes from the quiet authority to ignore it. True power is the ability to say no to the 9,999 things so that you can say a total, absolute yes to the one thing that matters. Tomorrow, when you sit down to work, don't try to conquer the universe. That is the path to exhaustion. Instead, just find your cicada wing. Close the extra tabs, put the phone in another room, not because you're hiding, but because you are protecting your D. Let your posture become steady and your mind become still. For the next block of time, let the rest of the great huge world fall away. Zhuangzi shows us that the secret to greatness isn't found in breadth, but in depth. Sometimes you have to narrow your world to finally gain control of it. You have to become small to do something big. I'm curious. What is the one cicada wing you are going to focus on today? What is the one thing that deserves your single-mindedness? Leave a comment below and let's start a conversation about finding our focus in a world that wants us scattered. Thanks for watching.